The first day that it happens, I'm going to fly one of the first flights out of there because I want to be able to get out of the airplane, rock right in my car, and drive like 10 minutes home, man.
You don't have to take the people movers in Dallas, for example, right? And factor all that extra time in, or take the train and then walk back to the Concourse C because, the station is not where it's supposed to be.
That airport, you have 95 is like 10, 15 miles away, then 234, then Route 28, you can get up to 66, a location. Unbelievable.
Connections always will create better impact. You're going to have people coming in, kind of juicing the economy. You're talking about hotels and that kind of thing. And when they stay at a hotel, what are they going to do? They're going to walk over to the brewery and spend their money there, and the foods and the local restaurants. So I think it's going to be great for the local economy.
What made you guys kind of choose Manassas?
So let me start with some of the very obvious factors, right? One of the fastest growing metro areas in the country, right? Then you have a very high propensity of people to fly here in the DC area, right? A lot of people get on flights here. You obviously have a lot of airports, as you just ran down. That would beg the question, well, if there's already so many airports, what is the point of having another one? Having done this for a while, the fact of the matter is that any new carrier will have an extremely hard time getting into Dulles, getting into Reagan, or getting into Bewey. It's just these airports are super constrained.
Right.
The incumbents are making great amounts of money, which is great as an ex-airline employee.
Yes.
I want airlines to be successful. I want to be part of the aviation industry for a long time to come. And everybody's doing a great job of it. But what that means is that if there are other new up-and-coming carriers that want to serve the passengers in the area, they don't really have an opportunity to do it because it's either cost prohibitive or there just is not capacity, right? You have roughly about somewhere between 15 to 20 million people potential flying in a 45, 50-mile radius of Manassas, which is just huge, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
This is definitely kind of, this is kind of a rare find. I don't want to give away all our secret sauce.
In terms
please
of what keep talking about it. That's good.
what the factors are. But you also have, it's obviously attracting a lot of new companies, like the Amazon 2 headquarters and everything else. And you have an income strata, which is also combined with the propensity to fly right in that kind of niche where people would want to kind of come in and buy tickets, right? And south of DC, there's really not a lot of options,
there's
right?
not. There's like Charlottesville, which is pretty far, and then Richmond, which is like you got 95. No, it's definitely a good location. Yeah, going back to that, right? Because I might be totally wrong on this, but when I remember back in my young aviation days, you had the airports only gave so many slots or something to fly in and out, and it's probably all booked at National and Dallas if a new carrier wanted to get in there. Am I right on that terminology?
No, you're right. And so specifically for Reagan, they operate under what's called a slot environment.
Right.
So, that one is basically full to the brim.
Yes.
Right. So basically think of there's 5 bedrooms in the house. There's one person assigned to each bedroom.
Right.
Sorry, can't take any more people at the end.
Exactly.
Right? The Bewey and Dulles are a little bit different. They don't necessarily have slots, but just the capacity.
Yeah.
Gates are all fully subscribed,
For
basically,
sure,
right?
yeah.
Or if there are gates that are shared by carriers, there's not a lot of empty slots in between to come in, right? So, and truth be told, people want to serve this area, right? I mean, this is
definitely
a huge up and coming area, and that's the bet, right?
100%. Because a lot of people think it's all like government jobs around here. There's like a lot of tech jobs, and right around the corner from that Manassas spot is Micron. They just got some government grant to build their plant even huger. So I definitely think it's a great spot. And that airport too is close to 234. You can get to Old Town Manassas. You can go up 95 and go towards DC. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know this too. It's already been, I think it's one of the more busiest like private jet ones in the state. So there's definitely already a lot of traffic coming in and out of there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that.
So I know you mentioned, I saw a little bit of the renderings. We'll put some up in the video. What kind of gets you excited about it? Do you know any specifics about the building or anything like that?
We're in the process of, we do know that we're going to be doing a phased approach.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
Right? So we're going to be doing a phased opening. So we're not going to be kind of opening the entirety of
the whole building.
The whole building at one time, right? So it's going to be a phased approach. So what we're calling phase 1, we're expecting that design to be done probably towards the end of first quarter, early part of second quarter.
Next 2025.
Of 2025.
Nice,
yes,
awesome. Love that.
2025.
Yeah.
So a lot of work has already gone into it. It's evolving by the day as we kind of get more kind of pieces of information in. We're super excited about what's going to happen as part of it. Some of the renderings you've seen renderings are always super fun.
Yes.
Right? They're very cool. Renderings are also just snapshots in time of what the best guess of what's going to happen. What
it's going to look
right?
like, yeah.
I have not been part of a lot of projects where the end project ends up looking exactly like the rendering that came out in the early days
nobody
of the
has
project,
an issue with it and says, oh, it goes perfect, let's just build it.
It looks great, right? But I think because of the footprint that exists there, just the approach in terms of the airport, what you're going to see from a gateway perspective long term, a lot of those things hopefully we should be able to realize a lot of those pieces.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a good looking rendering. I like the fact that it's like the more regional approach. You don't have to get on any trams or anything like that. You
know what? I live in obviously I live in Chicago. I live 20 minutes from O'Hare, which I absolutely love.
Right.
I love being that close to one of the most connected airports in the world. But when in the off chance where you do end up in a smaller airport, either to go pick somebody up or it's just so easy and so nice.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You just drive right up to the curbside. You don't have to make three loops
waiting
for them to come out because the police are trying to get you out of there, right? So I think there is an ease of travel experience.
Right.
So it's not just the point from where you get off the curb and go to your gate.
Yes.
It's also getting from your home to the curb and how stress-free that is, right? You don't have to take the people movers in Dallas, for example, right? And factor all that extra time in, or God forbid, take the train and then walk back to Concourse C because the station is not where it's supposed to be. All those things will factor into these these decisions, and once you do it once, and if the destination's lining up with where you want to go, most of us are going to end up picking what's a little bit less stressful.
I would pay extra to fly out of there. Yeah, I mean, because like I said, that airport is really good. Like the location is killer because like I said, you have 95 is like 10, 15 miles away, and then 234, and then Route 28, you can get up to 66. The location's like unbelievable. I mean, it was almost like they planned it to be that way, so I think it's going to be a phenomenal spot.
Oh, it's a great spot. And for me, like funny personal story, I was in the D.C. area for a childhood buddy's 50th birthday party, and one of the parties was in, they said, Manassas. And I was not part of this project yet. This was last October. And we went there to Two Silos Brewing Company, that whole venue, and I'm like, this is super duper cool.
Yeah.
And then fast forward 4 months later, and I'm part of this project. Like, I know that space. That's a very cool spot.
You're like, I've been here. That's that place I was telling you, Farm Brew Live.
Yeah,
that's like
very, very cool spot.
That's a really cool spot.
I was blown away at how awesome it was.
Yeah, they're putting in a hotel there. We were just talking with the county, a hotel, a big, huge brewery over there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of growth happening right over there.
A big fan of breweries. So
for sure. Gone are the days that we could fly the drone over there like it used to be, because now that's so close to the airport,
Yeah.
It's 100%. So do you okay, again, a loaded question, but do you have any, what would be the ideal, cities that people could fly at, on your all's, vision of, we could get, this would be a cool town to fly to Manassas to? Is there, ideas that you guys have?
The airport operator typically doesn't determine what the destinations are.
So the actual airline would make sense.
The commercial carriers will be the ones making the decisions, right? And as we kind of think about that, what I can tell you is that there's a tremendous amount of excitement.
100%.
Across the spectrum, near term and longer term. And I think people are looking at it both end to end, right? You've got leisure on one end. Leisure is generally the easiest one to spin up, right? Mm-hmm. And at some point, maybe kind of to some bigger hubs down the road where people can fly in and out. But those are decisions that are going to be very much left to each individual carrier that signs up to fly in and out of Manassas and figure out where they're going to make their money.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Do you guys have carriers that have committed, or you're talking to? I mean, obviously you wouldn't be doing this if you didn't, but you don't have to get specific. Is there just people interested, obviously?
People are very, very interested, right? We talked about earlier, Chris, some of the regulatory things that we need to get through, right?
For sure.
So there are certain kind of gates we need to get through before there will be an absolute long-term commitment from a carrier. It's well, make sure that
I don't
want to buy this house. You guys haven't even dug the foundation, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I think from that perspective, there is a lot of kind of latent interest.
Yeah.
And we fully expect to be able to capitalize on that. And,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Kind of more the merrier, right? That just creates more.
Yeah. Well, the first day that it happens, I'm going to fly one of the first flights out of there because I want to be able to get out of my car, walk right after get out of the airplane, walk right out of my car and drive like 10 minutes home, man.
We're going to have parking right in front of there, Don.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen like in the past, like this have a huge impact on like the local economies and all that when you start to bring in new flights to an area?
Yeah, I mean, airports, if you have a couple of moments and find yourself not being able to get some sleep, if you look up economic impact studies for airports, they're one of the largest drivers of economic impact, right? So they count both kind of a primary impact and then a secondary impact. So will this have an impact? Absolutely. There is no doubt whatsoever, right? Connections always will create better impact. You're going to have people coming in, kind of juicing the economy. You're talking about hotels and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to stay at a hotel, not the locals, right? The people who are flying in are going to be staying at the hotel, right?
Yep.
And when they stay at a hotel, what are they going to do? They're going to walk over to the brewery and spend their money there, and the foods and the local restaurants. And so I think it's going to be great for the local economy. And I think that's what's one of the coolest things about kind of this location is that there's not. I wouldn't want to give away kind of the recipe, the secret grandma's recipe to kind of finding an airport like this, but you're not going to have a lot of airports within booming big metro areas that lie relatively untapped, which can provide the potential for the type of service that we're looking for.
Yeah, definitely.